Good morning and welcome to Farming Today at the Balmoral Show near Belfast. More than 100,000 people come here during its 4 days and more than 3,000 animals travel from all over the UK for the competitions. This is the 157th show and over the years it's only got bigger and bigger.
Just heading off on the jumping phase now, Keane Fitzpatrick and a secret to Rebecca.
Well, we're here by the main arena and the horses are just warming up for the first classes of the day, and Rhonda Geary as the organiser of the Balmoral Show.
Yes, this has been my 34th, I think, show. So, it's great just watching the show grow and change year on year. It's fantastic.
And how has this show changed and grown? You've relocated from the city centre of Belfast out here to just outside Lisburn, of course.
Well, the show is now almost twice the size it would have been back in the day at the King's Hall, and it's just great to see so many more exhibitors here on site. We've been able to increase the size of some of our areas. For example, this year, our horticultural hub, we've grown that in size. Complete revamp, we have more trade stands in there. We have a nice area for children to actually see some cookery demonstrations, to get involved in planting out plants and trying to encourage the younger generation to become more involved in that horticultural area.
And that's the thing about Balmoral, there's a bit of a universal appeal. Yes, it's an agricultural show, but everybody comes out for it, don't they?
Yes, they do, and whether you're from the rural or urban areas, there is something here for everybody. We find that there's a great business opportunity here. We had record entries in the cattle and the sheep section and the equine section also, so the interest is growing year on year, and it's fantastic to see so many breeders and producers here.
Rhonda Geary there. She mentioned the horticulture hub here at Balmoral. In the food programme later today here on Radio 4, they'll be visiting fruit and veg growers across the country to ask what the government's horticulture growth plan means for farmers. That's here on Radio 4 at 11 o'clock. Well, we've just come into the Logan Hall and this is where all the cattle are. They get prepped and ready to go out into the cattle ring for their show classes. We've got cattle being blow-dried, we've got tails being floofed up. In this hall as well as all the usual breeds, the limousines, the Simmentals, the Herefords. Halfway down there's a big sign for the Irish Moiled, and that's a particularly unique breed. So I've come down the hall to see these Irish Moiled cattle, beautiful roan and white, patchwork and pebble dash pattern to them. And I'm here with Michelle McCauley and Nigel Edwards, who have been breeding these beautiful animals.
The Irish Moiled, just as you said, they're very eye-catching. The white back cow, so it is. And it's one of our oldest native breeds here to Northern Ireland. And this year is the 100th anniversary, centenary of the herd book, when the herd book was started.
100 years on, the herd book is still going, but Nigel, this breed almost vanished from our hills and fields, didn't it?
Way back in the day, in the 50s, 60s, that's when the decline started. They were classified as a dual-purpose breed. They produced both meat and milk for the house, but you had then more specialised breeds came in, maybe from England, coming over in the 50s, 60s, but then you had continentals that were really specialised came in the 70s, and the decline really started. There was actually only 30 left in the whole world, 30 purebred females in 1980.
But that has completely turned around now, thanks to the efforts of people like yourselves.
Well, that is right. They are still classified as rare, but not at risk. There is over 1,000 in the UK. Down in the Republic of Ireland there's quite a few too, so the total population could be now 1,500 to 2,000.
So a growing population, also a growing collection of rosettes.
That is correct. I was absolutely delighted in the centenary year, and to win at Balmoral, that's your big show that you really, really want to do well at. These cattle are outwintered. So they're outwintered, and literally that cow came in on Saturday from the fields. So that shows you the resilience of the breed. They definitely suit the climate here, but to win what we did yesterday, we're delighted, absolutely delighted.
Any more birthday cake left to celebrate with?
Just one slice, I think.
It's a little bit grey, but that's certainly not taking the edge off. The people are streaming through the Ulster Farmers Union enclosure. Also under cover is the union's new president, John McLenaghan. Lovely to see you, John.
Louise,
congratulations.
how are you?
You're just new in post. What are your priorities?
It's about taking this industry forward. It's about representing our members. It's about having a farming environment that allows them to continue those generational farm businesses that are so much a characteristic of Northern Ireland farming.
But of course you're doing this against a backdrop of an awful lot of challenges, and they range from global geopolitical right down to local, don't they?
Challenges are part of farming. Weather challenges, we talk about the geopolitical challenges, the effects of what we're currently seeing from the American war in the Middle East. I think this has highlighted the need to actually protect and create a resilience, not just within the individual farming businesses, but more at a national level. So how do we protect ourselves from these type of geopolitical shocks? We stopped producing fertiliser in the UK about 3 years ago. That makes us vulnerable, and we did that because it was cheaper to buy it from somewhere else. That's the sort of long conversations we have to sit down and have and say, it's not just about the cost of some of these items, it's about that resilience and that availability of product at times when things get difficult. And an increase in fertiliser now is an increase in food later.
That's kind of looking externally, but looking inwardly, we're waiting for a new nutrients action programme. This is the programme that basically tackles water pollution from agricultural sources. It's been in place for nearly 20 years. We know that it had a slightly challenged consultation last year. We're now waiting on the stakeholder task and finish group coming back with a final document. What do farmers need from that plan?
We have spent an awful lot of time and effort in actually turning that around into something which actually will work at a farm level and will deliver in terms of water quality at an environmental level. And I think we're very close to having that all finalised.
But why the pushback when we know that you look at Lough Neagh and we know that agriculture is responsible for the bulk? There are other elements, of course, wastewater, septic tanks, industry and every single household in that catchment all play a part, but agriculture is responsible for the bulk of nutrient pollution in Lough Neagh, contributing to the blue-green algae crisis. Why has there been that pushback?
I wouldn't accept that agriculture is responsible for the bulk of those nutrients. There are many factors which have led to the Lough Neagh situation, and I think if we think too much about the percentages and who's responsible for what, we actually miss the bigger point, which is how do we actually fix this. As an industry, we have demonstrated over the last 15, almost 20 years of a nitrates programme what we have done as an industry in order to change practice, invest on our farms, improving water quality. We do manage our nutrients, we will continue to manage our nutrients, and we will do that in a way which actually maximises profit on our farms, because we do not want to see nutrients lost into Lough Neagh or any other water catchment.
Well, you're going to have a steady flow of members through this marquee today. They're all lining up for the tea already. I better let you go and get pouring.
Thank you, Louise.
Sheep's just gone for a run around the ring there, but she's got a red rosette. We've got an emotional winner coming out here, an emotional owner. Oops, they're wrestling the sheep. Well, that win clearly meant a lot to you. Why is it so important to you, this red rosette?
No, Martha was a ball baby, and so yeah, she's special. Just very friendly, so we love her, you know. We didn't think she'd be able to do it because she had 2 bad legs as a lamb, so we were told she was never going to be a shoe sheep, and then she goes and does that. In her class, it was very unexpected.
I'm just walking around the sheep area here, and we've got these fabulous sheep that look like they've overdone the bronzer. So you're doing a little bit of cleaning around the legs. And so tell us about this beautiful breed.
They're originally from France. They're Rouge de l'Ouest. They're translates into Red of the West. That explains the face and leg colour. We've been breeding them for 34 years now, so we like them for their easy lamb and just easy maintained.
So what do you do to them then before the show?
Their legs and faces would be trimmed, wool would be washed, and then spray at it to give a wee bit of colour.
And how hopeful are you of taking home a rosette?
They're here anyway, and we can't have them looking any better, so we'll see how we get on.
Well, you've come out of the ring there with a rosette for these blue-faced Leicesters, so how happy are you?
I'm delighted. They're not even my sheep, they're actually my brother's, but his wife is having a baby today, so she's booked in for a section, so that's why he's not here. So I'm literally just up recording, taking the pictures, but it's actually Jason and Jake they're doing all the hard work for him today, so they are. So it's not really us, I'm just watching.
You're watching and waiting for the baby to be born, but the rosette's landed first.
It's all go, so it's all very exciting, so it is. So
we keep about 70 or so Valley Blacknose. When you shear them, you get an awful shock because you think you've got goats.
Because they have got that gorgeous, long, curly kind of coat. I mean, that's part of the big appeal of this breed, isn't it?
Yeah, and like we only got one 6th place today because some of our coats are a wee bit short yet. But it's very, very hard to plan for all the shows of the season. Some of these fleeces will be perfect for a show in 3 weeks' time, some for a show in 4 weeks, and some of them will only show for maybe the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then the fleece will be too long. And this is the first time we've ever showed at Balmoral. It's just been a great passion. This is a hobby that has got out of control.
The crowds are still watching to see which sheep take the prizes in the rings here. Over in Wales, Claire Griffith has taken the new Rural Affairs Minister post after last week's Senedd elections. Leaning on the railings here is the Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs Minister at Stormont, Andrew Muir. All right, well, Minister, we've had the great announcement here at Balmoral, of course, that the BBC Food and Farming Awards are coming to Northern Ireland for the first time, with the entries opening at the end of the week. How excited are you to see a celebration like that coming to Northern Ireland?
Absolutely overjoyed, and I want to say thank you to everyone who's made this possible. This will be a real showcase for Northern Ireland. Show what's great in terms of our agri-food sector here. I know we've got challenges, but we have that real competitive edge. We have that really high quality food, but also produced to the highest welfare standards.
You mentioned the challenges. Of course, the big talking points here will be the 3 Fs. Farming is not the only F: feed, fuel and fertiliser. So what about farmers here? What are they getting from you?
And that's going to be the key issue that I'm raising with the DEFRA Secretary of State, because the UK government need to step up and support our farming community across the UK. And those challenges in terms of the cost of fuel, feed and fertiliser is something where they have the economic firepower to be able to get that support out. Because we're going to see this coming through in terms of food inflation. That could be up to about 10%, and I'm really concerned around that.
And of course, we've had the EFRA Secretary of State, Emma Reynolds, here today. You've got that access. What are you telling her?
So I'm making it very, very clear we need that support in terms of those additional costs in terms of fuel, feed and fertiliser, but also in terms of this SPS Agri-Food Agreement. It's important to get that over the line and get it implemented as soon as possible. So I want to see that summit again taking place either next month or the beginning of July and get it implemented in 2027. We need to do that so that we can actually help trade across the whole of the UK and help our agri-food system in Northern Ireland.
And what about then those wider big picture issues that farmers are facing around pollution, the intensive livestock farming that we have here? How do they meet those pollution regulations, the Nutrients Action Programme requirements to moderate water pollution from agriculture? How do they meet those without extra government support?
So I'm very clear that government needs to assist a just transition so we can address those environmental issues, and that's why I'm going to be rolling out Sustainable Farm Investment Scheme in terms of that capital support. We also have over £300 million in terms of a Sustainable Agriculture Programme. But addressing those issues, we've got to do them together, and that's why we've set up a task and finish group in relation to the Nutrients Action Programme. I'm quite hopeful that will be completed in the next few weeks, and we'll do a final consultation in regards to this, and then we'll be able to move forward. Together we can achieve so much more. I know we have got challenges, but I'm a glass half full type of person, and I'm someone who wants to get things done.
And what is your favourite thing at this show then?
Oh, this is a question that's always asked of me. What's the favourite thing about the Balmoral Show? So if I pick something, I'm going to offend people. And I did say yesterday that my favourite farmed animal is sheep, but I love all farmed animals equally.
Thank you very much indeed,
Thank you
Minister.
very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Andrew Muir, Minister for Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs. That's all we've got time for from the Balmoral Show. I'm Louise Cullen, the producer is Rebecca Rooney, and Farming Today is a BBC Audio Bristol production.